When you see your matter going black, rejoice, for this is the beginning of the work. Rosarium Philosophorum. 7 signs you may be a beacon of darkness in the blinding light. Number 1. You're stronger for having survived a dark night of the soul. You've learned how to make your darkness shine. Your dark night, what Jungian analyst Mark Wellman calls an ontological pivot point, is a perspective in which death is also jouissance, and egocide is linked to creativity. In this sense, death means new life, a joyous rebirth. You understand that your ego's death was merely the death of your codependent materialist viewpoint. In defeat, transformation. In death, new life. Having experienced the darkness darker than darkness of the black sun, your soul has been lit with a luminosity so bright it eclipses the sun. You're now mysteriously paradoxical, darkness and luminescence in tandem. Number 2, your shadow has become your sidekick. You're adept at transforming demons into diamonds. You've baptized your badness into your best. Having transformed darkness into light, you have emerged as a paradoxical being dancing with your shadow in yin-yang delight. You realize that darkness was not a thing to overcome, but a thing to be lived through, a thing to be planted into and grown out of into greater human flourishing. Allied with your shadow, you exhibit your own kind of lustration that contains both darkness and light. The filius philosophorum emerges. The child of philosophy is born into individuation. An alchemical light illuminates all things, which is like no other light in the world. Number 3, you live dangerously by turning the tables on fear. Your shadow has given you a sharpness that cuts through fear. You're not afraid to take risks. You're not afraid to fail. You've learned that failure teaches more than success ever could. As such, you also live paradoxically, understanding, as Jungian analyst Neil Micklem did, that paradox enriches because only paradox comes nearer to comprehending the fullness of life, and without it we are inwardly impoverished. When we talk of paradox, we mean the presence of any two conflicting truths present at the same time in consciousness. You and your shadow are the personification of this paradox. What destroys you also creates you. You're not shy about shining your dangerous yet healing black light on the blinded by the light culture. Number 4, you're adept at melting down golden idols. You're excellent at knocking self-righteous blowhards off holier-than-thou high horses. Poking holes in inflated egos is your legerdemain. Like sacred clowns of old, you're not afraid of using contrarian methods of counting coup on members of the tribe who have become full of themselves and obese with immoderation. This is where your black light shines the brightest. Your shadow's light, your midnight sun, shines a mighty Klieg light upon the uppity and arrogant fools who think their shit don't stink. Anyone who takes themselves too seriously is blasted by your searing yet sincere black fire. So be it. As Jung poignantly expressed, the experience of the soul is always a defeat for the ego. Number 5, you're not afraid of being an amoral agent. Morality is too goody two-shoes for your edginess. Immorality is too evil for your heroic bent. Amorality is just right, a Goldilocks sweet spot. You realize that in order to moralize an otherwise immoral system, we need amoral agency. We need people who are willing to be proactive with the difficult task of tonalizing an atonal world. This requires a particular flavor of courage that may be unpopular but is vital for things to evolve. Amoral agency flips the tables on ethical dynamics. It reveals how the middle ground is the only healthy foundation. It discloses the golden mean. It unleashes the golden ratio. The courageous amoral agent is the desirable middle between the two extremes of moral cowardice and immoral recklessness. Recklessness is a Goliath, but so is cowardice. You are the amoral agent, a modern David, with a slingshot powerful enough to topple both. Number 6, revolution is your evolution. You realize that in order to reap a little evolution, you must sow a little revolution. But you also understand that a healthy revolution, like healthy evolution, is a slow burn. It doesn't happen overnight. So you've risen above the whiny, woe is me partisan fuckery of the outdated system. You politically crush out. Your metapolitics is flexible and adaptable. Your infinite game is strong, trumping their petty, finite games. Your radical leadership is true. You're willing to be the bridge from man to overman, even if it hurts, even if you must drag humanity behind you, kicking and screaming, even if it means everyone crying like little babies over the ashes of tradition, convention, belief, comfort, and security. Number 7, you use pain and darkness as a guide for spiritual ascent. You do not cling to security and comfort. Pain should not be avoided at the expense of growth. Rather, growth should be embraced at the risk of pain. Likewise, darkness should not be avoided at the expense of freedom. Freedom should be embraced at the risk of darkness. You understand this. You realize that life is not easy, and a life well lived is even less easy. There are trials and tribulations. There are slings and arrows. There are dark nights of the soul. There are unexpected changes that will throw you for a loop. That's why you've developed a philosophy for dealing with pain and honoring the darkness, a philosophy that helps you adapt and overcome. As Nietzsche said, I ask the power of a will by how much resistance, pain, and torture it endures, and knows how to turn into its advantage. In the end, you've all allowed darkness to become your teacher. It guides you toward reconditioning outdated conditioning. You've flipped the script. The obstacle has become the path. The darkness was merely a foothold disguised as a threshold, leading you toward a healthier, more flexible spirituality capable of self-overcoming. As Leslie Fieger challenged, any fool can run toward the light. It takes a master with courage to turn and face the darkness and shine his own light there.